Hey there folks, and welcome back to TwistedMetal 1. We last left off, we dealt with Thumper, now into number 8, which is... We got Warhog, which yeah, here's the info for Warhog. Slower than most of this year's competitors, but with a mean special weapon and a ton of armor, it doesn't need to be fast. Commander Mason. Commander Mason is working for the US government. He's hoping Calypso can help him retrieve an item so powerful it could destroy the world. Apparently. Special weapon XQJ-37 Hornets. Nail an enemy with 3 of these homing missiles for some major damage. Special weapon powered 3. That's about right. Speed, yeah, definitely 1. This is one of the slow ones. Armor 4, and yeah, turning, I would say like 3. It's not really that great for the most part. I will say this is kind of like the weaker Warhogs out of the bunch to say, but off to the arena duel. Go with roadkill. Is that what it was called this whole time? It was just called Reno? Huh. Okay. So Warhog as the saying goes, is a pretty balanced fighter overall, just slow as a turtle at the end of the day. You have to think turtle at the end of the day when it comes to driving this one, because yeah, he moves as fast as 89 miles per hour. That's as fast as you're going to get by normal base. By turbo base, a lot quicker. But yeah, that's about it, basically what you get for driving as Warhog and such. And there's some fire missiles at him, because yeah, I will say Warhog is also, like I said, a pretty good character. I'll definitely say either a B or A for this case. So now on to the Warehouse District Welfare, because yeah, that's how fast to deal with Roadkill right there, and he's coming back again. Oh yeah, I will say, I think this is the episode I messed with Mr. Grimm like so many times. Just to say, he appeared a lot throughout this. It's not like it's really a choice, but there is a case where you don't see Mr. Grimm that often, but this one I think I definitely did. Because I know in the first stage I'm not going to because no matter what, it's defaulted to roadkill for that case. Also, did I say Roadhog? I think I meant to say roadkill. Whoops, this ain't Overwatch. You know Overwatch is bad. Big. Eat your time and your money for danger. Holy crap. When it comes to that one. But yeah. So then with Pit Viper and Roadkill. Oh, bye Pit Viper. Good god. Fragile as glass, as the thing goes. What basically was the equivalent to a Warhog but weaker, it would be Pit Viper. As the thing goes. Okay, got Mr. Grimm right behind us, and who else was that? Yeah, Roadkill, duh. Yeah, just get some health here. Cause yeah, I will say the great part about Warhog, very sturdy and can take on a lot of beating before it even loses that much armor at the end of it. I will note that the health stations do take equivalent based on your durability, so it won't give you a lot of health if you're a very high durability user like Warhog here. Warhog is one of those cases where it's a high durability user. The other one was technically Thumper, I think. But to say though, it gives about, I want to say a little bit more of a third, but not quite as a third at the end of it. Trying to give chase to Mr. Graham, but I will say good luck when you're the slow one, because it is very difficult to hit him. However, when he turns around like that, then yeah, I'm gonna be punching crap out of him. Just look at that, just bam, just punch the crap out of him. The guard, however, he skulled the crap out of me, so I need to go get help right now, because yeah, those skulls, they hurt. They still hurt even though you're a high durability user. Get some health here. But yeah, so I would say a little bit more of a third at the end of the day when it comes to that. I see Roadkill just peeking around the corner. Just waiting. And goodbye, Mr. Grip. I run you to death. That's the thing goes, because it's so easy. Cause yeah, it's kind of funny, but I do kind of consider the RAM damage when it comes to this one. It's a very equivalent to the PlayStation 3 TwistedMetal, if you know. Although I still say the PlayStation 3 takes the cake on that very severely, in some cases, considering the whole sniper mechanic, which is one of the worst mechanics I ever deal with. Which I get it. A sniper is very strong. A sniper would pierce through like anything a vehicle would have, but the fact that these are fictional vehicles with magical based armor should also tell you something that it really technically shouldn't go through that. But it does anyways. And that was the biggest problem about that sniper mechanic as a whole. If anything, these weapons should be like Hellspawn incarnations of real life weapons, based on as the thing goes. If you're gonna have this whole fantasy element to the vehicles at the end of the day, so the whole realistic value, which stop going the realistic value for God's sake. You could have a semi-realistic value, but keep it semi. Never go for the full factor to it because people don't want that. They don't want to re-experience real life upon a real life, you know. As the thing goes, they want a semi-realistic value, which is something like this. Oh yeah, I think. Oh yeah, did I show that? I think I showed that the health thing too. So I finally showed that off too. And I also forgot to show the first-person cam thing again. I think it's like D-pad left, or D-pad left, and you hit select too, if I recall. So in case anyone wants to know how to do the dashboard thing, it's hold and select, and which in this case you hit the left with the touchpad, or you hold the left with the touchpad, and then you just hit left for that. So in case you want to know, yeah, that's how the PlayStation backwards compatibility games were set up as, because we don't have a start and select when it comes to this generation, nor PlayStation 4 for that matter, and such. But yeah, we got basically a big old gang to deal with on the freeway, which I am just kicking the crap out of it. Oh my god, that was a bad time to touch me during that, because I will say I am invincible during the health station. Thank God to that, because if I was able to take damage during that, that would suck. And I hope that doesn't become a glitch if a remake happens again. Yeah, a lot of remakes will have very interesting glitches every now and then in replace of what shouldn't happen. And the best part is it's just gonna stay in the game because the developer doesn't want to do anything to do with it. When they really should, because it'll be a huge damper to the game because it wasn't there originally. This thing goes. It wasn't there originally, you should deal with it. There you go, punching crap out of Dumper though, because yeah, even if Dumper is about, I would say, on par in terms of armor, you could punish the crap out of him, because he, by heavy weight, Warhog is definitely way more on the department of being a bigger target to deal with. And a well-deserved target while at it. Because Warhog is considered what I consider the most balanced when it comes to TwistedMetal characters, and Warhog is no exception to that rule. That rule gets broken though once we hit TwistedMetal 4, because they decide to give him this whole trap-based special, which is garbage one I just don't kind of like at the end of the day. I do kind of understand that you technically will get a lot more damage, but you have to freeze someone to even pull it off, most of the case, or hit the remote at the right timing of that, because I will say it's not touch sensitive when it comes to that one, which I'm referring to as General Warhog, so the toy soldier. Yeah, so now we just dealt with basically everyone, like, immediately. Because that's just how good Warhog is. That's just really how good. So yeah, his special is a fun case, because sometimes it will hit the target, sometimes it won't hit the target. It's a very interesting suggestion of a special weapon. It just feels like you just stack 3 fire missiles into that special weapon at the end of the day. Which is, you know, technically fine. I just know in the later of the TwistedMetals, they gave him a lot better touch to it. It's also very interesting. Why is it a 6-wheel Humvee too? I guess that's just the whole military part, but that was like more of an off-road version to the Humvee than the actual one. The actual one was the 4-wheel, which is later probably what was corrected in 2's case. Because in 2's case, it became a 4-wheel, and it also had the Patriot missiles, which I like that so much better. Also, yeah, I'm trying to shoot this car. It was not hitting at all. Because I will say, I think Warhog's a bit taller than normal on top of it. Yeah, just dealing with Pit Viper here, which, oh boy. Under the hockey ring. Goodbye, hockey person. Which I think is funny too, because I think, if I recall, Single Track did dealt with one sports game, which I think was NHL, which was the National Hockey League. So I think that's what the reference is potentially, but I could be wrong. That could be just a standalone PlayStation game at the end of the day. But yeah, I could just hear those Sweet Tooth's laugh. Good God, he is after me. But yeah, I will say I think Sweet Tooth is a bit of a menace when it comes to playing as Warhog, because the problem about Warhog, as the saying goes, he's slow. So if Sweet Tooth so happens to be in your sights, prepare for the worst. I'll just say that much. Unless you don't have any turbo, which in my case I don't have any turbo, because yeah, I will say you will be using turbo more efficiently than normal. So, well, efficiency, I'm more like inefficient, I should say, because you need it to, you know, move and pace with the opponent sometimes to even get aggressive. Because yeah, that's the one big fundamental problem about Warhog, and why I'm gonna say a B for this case is because he's just relatively slow. He's literally a turtle that fights back at the end of the day. He is the Blastoise, in other words. Military Blastoise. So now I just see where Sweet Tooth's trying to make a move here. However, I see Pit Viper trying to make a move on me. That ain't happening. I'm trying to hit her. It's like, come on. There we go. Now she did. There we go. I guess Sweet Tooth didn't want to make a move on me. I'm kind of surprised there, because usually they sit until you veer away and such, and then they'll make their move. That's usually what happens. I still got Yellow Jacket to deal with, which, speaking of other balanced character, Yellow Jacket is the other one, I will say. So yeah, if there's I guess a sort of rivalry between Warhog, it's technically kind of that one, although Warhog's kind of better. I'm trying to ram him. It's like, come on! Because it's so hard to do quick turning on this one a little bit. But when you hit it, you're going to be ramming a lot into the point. You're going to do like wombo combo kind of scenario sometimes. As you can see, sometimes I do. Alright, we got Mr. Grimm and Yellow Jacket at this point. And we got Dark Side. Yeah, there's Dark Side. Oh boy. Forgot about that. Throw a homing missile, and accidentally ram into him, which I will say, be careful ever doing that. Like I said, you will instantly probably die in the process, because that is a bit of a glitch that mostly Darkseid does, which is basically he hops around and spins around in that shenanigans. I still got Darkseid a little bit, however, yeah, he got killed. You're good. Because yeah, that's what I like about this game, is that the opponents can turn around and kill each other, which, thank the Lord on that, because yeah, that's the biggest gripe I have about 2. 2 was just nothing but BS when it came to difficulty. If there was a mod I like to see for TwistedMetal 2, is someone making a more fair edition of TwistedMetal 2, which is like, you could technically add more opponents, but make them have the ability to kill each other. You know, not have this whole, oh, let's target the one freaking guy, because we know he's very important, because he's the one who's actually doing the tournament. Alright, we're just a stick in the mud, as it goes, because I just hate that whole AI philosophy. That's just lazy. It's just like, oh, you need to make a difficulty for your opponents. What do? You make them where they teabag the shit out of you. I would understand for hard's sake to do that, but for a normal mode, no. That is not correct at all. That is fundamentally wrong. And yes, I said that very correct for most. However, I do see a situation here that's very funny. I got Yellow Jacket stuck underneath the bridge, which that is a rare case, I will say. That is like the first time I've seen that. So basically, I just got instant win here, because yeah, here's the thing. They do not ever really travel underneath this bridge here, because their tracking system got sucks or such. But for this case though, they they just get stuck underneath the bridge until they finally get the ability to move out of it. Which is good for me, because I could just straight up just take them out. Everything goes. Unless it's a really annoying opponent, like maybe Sweet Tooth for that matter, or something else for that case. So we got Outlaw and Mr. Grimm at this point. Which yeah, Mr. Grimm, he's just fucking invading me at this point. He doesn't want to die like the last time. Oh, there he is. Oh, crap. Check the crap out of me. Which yeah, that does kind of hurt a little bit. But there we go. And get this full health here, attack weight. Ah, pretty close. Oh, hi, Mr. Grimm. You finally want to chat? He has entered the chat, people. He has entered the chat. He is ready for the debate. He is ready for. Oh! Oh, yeah, I hit my own mind. God damn. That was for you! Or meant to be for you. Go around the street pole, because apparently this is effective. I don't know how, it just so happens it does, because they just don't have the brains to go around the freaking street pole. Because yeah, as the saying goes, when it comes to these opponents and stuff, or how the AI is laid out at the end of the day, it's laid out in a trained logic, so they're out of track of where they're supposed to be, they'll start acting up and such. This is a similar case to like Gran Turismo did, Technically did too. Or like most of the early ones, I would say. I would say heck even past 4. Maybe even 5. It was still on the track south. I will say on 6 or 7, I think they got technically slightly smarter, but then there's those instances where they're technically not. But on to Assault on Suburbia. Which yeah, we got the full 8 this thing is. Which oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. Who's gonna be my first butt to deal with? Looks like Darkseid. Turn around here and fire some missiles. However, I got froze just a tad. However, he did hit me with a fire missile on top of it, so that got me out of freezing. Because I will say, once you get hit by a missile, which this would make sense because you got frozen, or you know, this would make sense, and this would make freeze a bit more fair. I swear, I'm gonna make a compilation of how to make the freeze missile fair at the end of the day. Because it ain't fair, at all. Oh, we had Sweet Tooth, we had Hammerhead, and freaking Darkseid all at once there. Good God. Oh, Sweet Tooth getting smacked down to half already. That's a good sign. Darkseid is about 2/3 now for health left. Ouch, I ain't getting bullied in the back there because, like I said, I'm slow as heck, but if your B is a bit maneuverable about how he moves, which is a good thing about Warhog, he's maneuverable. So, yeah, maybe that is right about the tournament 4. That might be this might actually be the case where the stats are just right about the same. Got the Spectre here doing the thing. And there we go, punched him. Oop, almost punched him again. Damn it. Trying again. Ouch. He got me with his missile, which, oh crap, he is just drilling me in. Need woo, oh, I am surprised I survived that, but then again, as the saying goes, I think Warhog is technically like the second heaviest character, so he could technically survive against Darkseid's Ram a little bit. Thank God to that. I do say loosely that, because technically he would do a lot more, but I think it was like normal damage, luckily. If it was a fierce damage, like if you just applied turbo to it, oh god. Oh golly, oh G or Y. Throw a home missile, throw no one. There you go. Alright, who next? I see you, Darkseid. I'm gonna check a banger. There you go. Blah, blah, blah. Ah, it's been out of control. As he just got the steering wheel just pointed to the left. Steer out of it. Alright, so dealt with like technically 2 little messes. We dealt with Spectre and oh, freeze missile him. But yeah, there is a random case where those freeze missiles was that was funny. He's actually was lock steering there. But there is a case where the freeze missile, if you so happen to freeze them, they will sometimes just look at you, like home in on you, no matter where you even moving at. That tells you how BS the tracking system can be sometimes, because I think that's basically telling you that they are homing in onto you. If you so happen to get them while they're not homing in onto you, they'll just stay in place like they should, as the thing goes. But for their case, they can just turn around freely as much as they want when that happens. Because yeah, you have seen an incident throughout this video where I was just literally going around Sweet Tooth while he was frozen. As the thing goes, it's just like wow, this wow. Oh, and Pepper trying to put her 2 cents into me. But yeah, as the saying goes, Warhog is just a very good fighter at the end of it. I almost want to say A. I almost want to say A, but I don't know if I really should or not. Because it's hard to say in my judgment call at the end of the day. I will say this ranking system is a work in progress. This ain't, the real deal, so to say. I'm not going to count these as real deals when it comes to this. Because it's when it always comes to a ranking system, I will always consider those as a big guess, because there's a case where you may not like this game, but someone might really like this game at the end of the day. It will rank it much higher. That is just how it's going to work, and that is how it's going to be, as it goes. At the end, because yeah, that's the one thing I hate about some people. People take the ranking system as factually as possible, when you really shouldn't. You should not ever use the ranking system as your choice to play such game. And I've seen some terrible examples, to say, of people. I'll just say a majority of Sonic fanboys kind of do that shit. And if you see that, just run from them. Just don't even listen to them. As saying goes. If you see someone who uses a ranking system as their means to play a fucking game, run from them. There is no point. If you do not run from them, you're as blind as they are. I'm just gonna call you out on that. I'm sorry. You should take the ranking system as a matter of suggestion. Like example, here's a big one. What recently happened is Crimson Desert. A lot of people thought this game was crap because on the Steam ratings or on the PlayStation ratings, this was considered low and stuff. That wasn't factually true at all, and especially what they later did. They did an update to recircumstance that at the end of it. And yeah, it did fix a lot of problems that Crimson Desert had, because by gameplay, apparently it's really freaking good. By story is flawed from what I heard. It's not really that great for the most part. And such. But otherwise, from the standpoint, and that's very important, as to be a gamer, this is the way to go, as it goes. And that's why I believe in as well. Oh, we got Hammerhead here. And oh boy. Hammerhead trying to put his 2 cents in me. It's like, no! But yeah, I will say, there is a healing spot by the church. I just don't know where. I think it's like right at the front or right in the back. I'm pretty sure it's at that front there. I think you just sit on that front and then eventually I'll give it to you, but I have to relook at the video for that and such. Because there's no way I'm gonna hard check that crap. Not when the action's presented here. If there's a big main attraction I love, which is technically stupid because it's not really that impressive. I just love the fact that there's a big old public school right there at the church there. That's very, very cool for that matter. If there's any decorations to also add to that, it's probably some parked cars and stuff. Because yeah, I can understand why they didn't do parked cars, because, well, I say somewhat, because there is parked cars during the city section, or the suburban sections. I think that's technically a suburban area. Yeah, I think it would have to be, considering what this area is called at the end of it. And then you have Mr. Grimm here, which, yeah, of course, guess who's last again? Because, yeah, the problem about Mr. Grimm is that he just runs away. He doesn't even really try to fight until he gets you in the right of the ropes to do it. He is basically the Pac-Man. So say up Ghosts. Because the Ghosts will just pretend that you're not there, but they know that you're there at the end of the day. And as one of the most impressive AIs coming from a game that was older than Mario, mind you. To this day, to me. In terms of tabletop video games. Or arcades, in other words. Nah, I can't really say arcades because there's a bunch of arcades. I would say tabletop. Back then, stuck with tabletop. Because it stays in one screen, most of the case. But yeah, I got Mr. Graham trying to give chase here. Gotta figure out what to do to him at the end. He's almost dead. Just gotta get that little bit. But yeah, there's 2 other games in the future in terms of TwistedMetal based kind of games. I'm hoping for so there's like a deep diver kind of game that Single Track did. I cannot recall what it's called at the end of the day. And then there's the 2012 Vacation one. That's pretty good. I don't think it's Road Rage. I think it's like Road Trip. Yeah, Road Trip 22 Vacation. That's another one that's pretty good, I think. By gameplay, story not so good, but gameplay pretty good for the most part, and very interesting. I'll say, because that was a attempt where Single Track was going to make their own game after the departure of TwistedMetal and such. And it's a very interesting ideal of such, because some cars later did make it into the TwistedMetal franchise, which I will say, yeah, this area is pretty bad for any slow vehicle. This name is slow vehicle. They're gonna have bad times with this, because the biggest problem about this level is that you're slow. That's an insult, as the saying goes. However, it's pretty freaking true, because I would say be careful of one point, and you need turbo or some kind of spring jump to get by at the end of the day. And it's this gap, because they didn't bar out a ramp here, so you're gonna have a terrible time dealing with that. And I already got someone to give him chase here. A little Spectre again. Deal with your butt once for all. Let's bring mine. Which I really shouldn't be using those. I should be kind of using those to get over there at the end of the day. But yeah, you just be careful of that, because chances are you're probably not making that gap. And that gap is very tough to pull at the end of the day. Especially if you're getting chased by, well, the final boss here, as the thing goes. Here we got Hammerhead once again. Get back up here, because yeah, this is one heck of a cheese spot. And I think the only way they will technically fix that cheese spot if they made the ramp go the other way about. And such. Because it's kind of shocking they didn't just do that, because yeah, this is like a bit of a cheese method, I gotta admit. But it's very useful considering the opponent you would be going against also cheeses too, so you know, it's kind of fair in my case. That's kind of fair. Ouch. Got rammed in mine by Hammerhead. However, he has spring mine, so they ain't gonna do much. But yeah, so I'm just trying to figure out, it's like, oh, eventually I need to cross that. Hoping to put a spring mine there. However, I did put one there, but for some reason, at some point, you're gonna see here. What's for? Okay, there it is. Just for kill. Oh, and miss. Damn it. I was hoping that freeze missile hit. Alright, here, come on up. And he gone. Alright, now Devil Broker. Also, yeah, I love you just sliding down the ramp. Goodbye. Come on, Roadkill. Tell me what you got. What you got, bro? There he goes. And he did. Alright, so now for Minion, which, like I said, the biggest problem. I think I just ran out. Yeah, I ran out of weapons. Oh no. It's like, I need to go find some weapons and stuff, because yeah, I don't have the box down, and the only way you get that box down is you need to come from the other side. There's some homing missiles, surprisingly, holy crap. I'm shocked about that. I figured they would be gone for a good while, because usually homing missiles don't, you know, stick around that much. So. But yeah, I cannot believe I just did that. I just chuck a homing missile. That's good again, right? No. So here we go, doing the gap of death there, because yeah, like I said, there's a chance you will not make that, because you have barely the speed to do it. So, barely. But yeah, let's go ahead and get this turtle to ensure that I don't die in the process, and also I need to jump over there too on top of it. But for now I need to go down here to get some health and stuff, because yeah, the health did show up. I was like, oh, okay. Convenient. Where are we at? Store? This thing goes. Yeah, I'm just waiting for Minion here, because he's kind of acting a little weird. Buddy, what are you doing? I'm not going out there. I want you to come up here, and then I can just go down there. I think that's fair game. Which I think eventually he did finally get up here. Yeah, there he is. He's getting up there. Alright, so go ahead and just drop over here. A little bit turbo, just get by. Now we just wait for his butt. Oh, and missing missiles. Because yeah, as the saying goes, I think those missiles are technically like the equivalent of 3 fire missiles attached to one. Yeah, though. Alright, Minion, buddy, old pal. But yeah, it's kind of funny because you would think, like, you know, Minion's like the bigger brother to Warthog in this case, but however, his special is completely different for this one, so it's technically kind of not. So this is where you can't just draw the comparisons. It wasn't until 2 for that comparison where he got his official special finally, which thank God they did that, because that was so bizarre, giving him all the specials of each of the TwistedMetal contenders here. It's just very weird choice. And yeah, go ahead and get more missiles and stuff, since I technically don't have a whole lot. So we go over here, you shoot down the crate. Cause yeah, this is one of the cases where you actually have a prop to destroy. But yeah, I still need to go check the suburban area, or suburbia, in other words. But yeah, get rid of those rear frames, because those things suck. That is easily the worst weapon pickups. Besides, because oil you would have used, because the opponent wouldn't know what to do when it comes to steering. But rear flame does not leave a trail of fire, and if it left a trail of fire, that actually would have been more use. But it doesn't do that. Like, it would be kind of cool if you're able to set fire traps and stuff, but no, they didn't really dot that. They just have rear flamethrowers. Which is an interesting thing, but the problem is the range is just crap. As thing goes, because it's not as equivalent as long or slow as Thumpers. But yeah, I'm trying to figure out what's he doing here. Is he trying to get here or what? Kind of debating like should I get up there or not. So I'm just gonna draw him back down here. Get your fat butt down here, sir. Look at 6-well tank. And there, oh, almost. Oh, there we go. And Minion down. This thing goes. Congratulations! You have won the 10th TwistedMetal competition. Prepare to meet Calypso and receive your prize. You are the winner of the competition and are granted an audience with Calypso, the creator of TwistedMetal contest. As you speed into his underground garage, you spot him surrounded by hot-bay bodyguards and seated on the throne of broken car parts. His face is burnt beyond recognition, his smile is hideous, and he speaks. As you know, I shall now grant any prize you request. I won your contest, you shout in a gruff voice. Now give me my prize! Give me my box! Calypso smiles and tosses you a heavy iron box. It's a flight recorder box from a downed aircraft. Listen to the recording on the box. You now know why the government sent you to get it. It contains evidence that an otherworldly craft shot down the airliner. Evidence that we are not alone. Aliens exist! Little green men! As you speed off into the LA night, you are content, happy that the government will get what is rightfully theirs. You also feel good knowing that the people of the USA can sleep tight tonight, kept in the dark about things they are not yet ready to know about. God bless the USA! And thus that ends Warhog's story in a nutshell. Basically, it's that simple, and also that's how you do a deathless run at the end of it. Yeah, I didn't die at all for that one for once. So, as the saying goes, I thank you all people for watching. I hope you enjoyed what you've seen here and hear what I had to say at the end of the day. And until then, folks, I'll see you guys all next time. Until such, enjoy this little teaser of me doing Ghostmaster, again, the most pain-ass fucking ghost possible, named Asriel. More on that when you see what's about to happen here. Till then, folks, take care.
Badge or no badge, he's mine now.